So, following on from yesterday's conversation in regards to soul loss, someone asked a question around how many sessions does it require to do a soul retrieval? And I don't think that there is, a certain protocol that goes with this type of work. Each client is really unique in their own experience, and as such has to be treated like that. And I just wanted to share too that soul loss isn't always pathological, and it can be a very highly adaptive and strategic defense mechanism and survival strategy for people who have gone through lots of trauma or in the process of experiencing profound grief or, just another really overwhelming circumstance. So I just wanted to make a distinction that it's not always really pathological. I can, think of quite a few clients, people who have either lost a child and they're in an immense grieving process, and spirit saying to me that part of their personality is outside of themselves. They're structurally disassociated, or there's a compartmentalization for that part. And spirit have encouraged that it needs to be so, because to integrate the enormity of that experience and to hold the intense, I can't even have, adequate words of what that would be like to go through. So, to process all of that at one point in time, it can be very overloading and overwhelming for the psyche. So, just to, again, say that it's not always a bad thing. And sometimes it really is a grace, a part of a process that we're in. And, thinking of a couple of other clients who have had a significant trauma history, and they're not ready to do a soul retrieval yet. Their ego isn't developed enough. Their inner sense of self, they're not resourced enough. They don't have enough internal imprinting, psychological strength. And so the process with those clients is building a capacity, an ego strength, really connecting a client to their deep self, their deep soul, activating and awakening that, that really deep connection to the self that is separated from the ego. The ego is always overwhelmed, fear, can't hold it, too intense. But when we tap into that aspect of the true self, of the deep self, it has so much more strength, resilience, and capacity than is beyond our, imagination. And so I focus on connecting a client to that aspect of themselves, so that is established in the self before doing a soul retrieval. Other times, I've had clients come to me and we've done a soul retrieval in the first session, and sometimes that's been even from birth. I'm thinking of another recent client case of a man who was born with an anomaly, and he was, as soon as he was born, that was recognized by doctors and parents, and he was rushed off. And from the moment of his birth, he didn't really feel like he was accepted. And he was carrying that deep wound of not being met, as we need to be met. And so the first time that I worked with him, I got to that first real birth imprint that was there for him. I can think of many other cases as well where the soul at retrieval happens in an organic, I always believe that the intelligence of the psyche governs this as well. So I follow the intelligence of the psyche. I don't work with a protocol. If someone gets in contact with me and says, I want a soul retrieval, I go into their session really open, not with an agenda to do, I'm going to do a soul retrieval on you today. I go in listening and working with my guides, working with my allies, working with the intelligence of their psyche and what they're really needing. So it really all depends. But I really just wanted to also you know, I know I'm saying this again, but make that distinction is sometimes dissociation, sometimes fragmentation, sometimes compartmentalization is an okay thing. It's not always pathological. So I wanted to share that.